Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. Now, I didn't do a podcast last Monday. I was kind of feeling a little bit of YouTube fatigue. That coupled with, it was my plan to do an entire video, an entire podcast on the topic of total carbs versus net carbs. But as I started thinking through the topic, it kind of just took on a life of its own. It got bigger and bigger. I started thinking about the concept of calories and why keto works, and it got a little too big. And either I need to figure out how to pare it down, or it could be 2 episodes or maybe a really, really long podcast. But that is still coming maybe next week. So this week is kind of going to be just a catch-all. There's a bunch of topics I wrote down on this sheet of paper, just random thoughts. Some are more keto, some are more YouTube, some are just personal life stuff, but it's going to be kind of all over the place this particular episode. I would ask that you stick around till the end though, because I do have a special request from you. But that said, let's take a look at the list and where we start. Well, first, here's a good one. It didn't occur to me just how many milestones there are going to be for this channel this year. I mean, I knew I would hit 300,000 subscribers, which is probably coming, my guess is second week of May, first week, second week of May, somewhere in there. So 300,000 subscribers. I had my 5-year Ketoversary. I had the 5-year anniversary of this channel, both of which happened fairly close. But some of the other things coming up. I will hit 200 podcasts. I think this is number 176. So later in the year, 200 podcasts. Probably have to do a giveaway to celebrate that. 1,000 total videos. So that's kind of exciting. I mean, boy, I'm almost speechless here. I would have never thought that possible. And in fact, I go back and I look through some of my older videos and I'm like, holy cow, I don't even remember recording this. And this is good stuff. Why have I not made this recipe in a while? So, it'll be a product that I reviewed. And I'll just think, wow, I don't even remember reviewing that. I just keep kicking out content. What else? 1,000 videos, 200 podcasts, 5 years. Oh, so, a fair amount of milestones. And of course, I'll celebrate each of those milestones with some sort of giveaway, hopefully something pretty cool. One of the questions I got from one of my paid channel members, and this is in a way sort of one of the perks of being one of the paid channel members, besides getting early videos and some behind the scenes content, blooper reels from time to time, live streams from time to time. One of the other things I'll do is periodically I will ask my paid channel members for ideas for this podcast. Not this podcast, but the video podcast in general. And one of the questions that I got was, what are my thoughts on intermittent fasting? Do I think it's a good thing, a bad thing? Do I do it? Do I not do it? So let's talk about that for a moment. And I always try and approach things pragmatically. And I think the simplest definition of pragmatic or pragmatism is if something works for you and it doesn't harm anyone else, then it's the right thing to do. So in terms of intermittent fasting, some people have tremendous success with it. They lose a lot of weight with it. It works great. Now, I guess it depends on what your goal is for intermittent fasting. Are you doing it just to free up a little extra time during the day? Are you doing it because you find you have more energy throughout the day? Are you doing it to lose weight? Are you doing it with the hopes of causing autophagy within your body, which is sort of, it's essentially when healthy cells start consuming less healthy cells. It is a sort of regenerative process within the body. I'm having a hard time with words today. So here are my thoughts on all of that. Autophagy, as I understand it, doesn't really start to kick in until after 36 hours of fasting. So if you're fasting for 24 hours, there's not a lot of sense to it, in my opinion, just based on what I know or what I've heard. Intermittent fasting, I think, makes sense in that throughout the day, if I don't eat, I typically have more energy and it's like more time. Like this morning, it's Sunday, I'm recording this. I had breakfast. I probably have breakfast once, maybe twice a week. And usually it's, bacon and eggs and sausage and, pretty protein and fat intensive. But I got done having breakfast this morning and I was pretty much ready to go back to bed. It just, to me, I operate, I think, better on an empty stomach. So I intermittent fast, not intentionally. And actually, I don't even know if I would call it intermittent fasting for me, because most days I do have a big Yeti tumbler full of coffee with some heavy whipping cream and either MCT oil powder or collagen in there. So I'm consuming calories, which means I'm not really fasting. But I don't actually eat any sort of a meal or snack until very often mid to late afternoon. I'm sort of like one meal a day plus one late afternoon snack a day plus coffee. So not technically intermittent fasting, but sort of a restricted eating, I guess. I don't know what I would call it. If you have a name for that, let me know down in the comments below. But I think intermittent fasting, if it works for you, great. And it seems to work for a lot of people. I get a lot of comments from people that say they either are doing, a 16-8 or one meal a day or a 20/4, and they've just achieved great results with it. So in my opinion, if it works for you, do it. You're not hurting anybody. If, however, you're doing it to achieve the benefits of autophagy, I don't think you probably are, at least to my understanding. So I think you kind of, there's sort of this space between intermittent fasting and an extended fast, like 48 hours or more, that doesn't have a lot of point to it. Again, just my opinion. But there you go, intermittent fasting. Another question I've gotten from my channel members is about the process of making videos and what all goes into that. How long does it take to make a video? And I find that review videos, for the most part, are absolutely the easiest to do. Well, it depends. If it's something simple like an unboxing, the easiest ones are the unboxing of Keto Chow with Colton at my side, and we read through what all the packages are, and then we do a giveaway. Those are the easiest. There's no editing. I mean, very little editing. And I mean, soup to nuts, I'm done with that in an hour. I would say, though, in general, cooking videos, absolutely the hardest. I mean, so much goes into cooking videos. If everything goes perfectly, you're looking at about an hour to an hour and a half of time per minute of video. That's the filming, that's the editing, that's the posting, that's the video description, that's getting the recipe out on my website. That's when everything goes smoothly, and it rarely goes smoothly. Very often, I'll have an idea for a recipe, and it doesn't turn out. And sometimes I'll have a happy mistake, and I can tweak it, and I come up with something else. But sometimes it's just a straight up fail. And that was what occurred last week, or the week before. I got this idea. I thought, what would happen if, since I love grinding brisket and making ground brisket burgers, so good, got a video on it, I'll link to that in the end card. I thought, what about if I got some corned beef, because that's made from brisket, it's cured brisket that then you either slow cook or smoke, but it should still have enough fat in it that I could make a really nice burger grind, and I could maybe create like a Reuben burger or something, or season it a little bit different and smoke it and have like a pastrami burger. Didn't turn out. The meat didn't hold together well. It didn't bind properly. It was way too salty. And I filmed it all. But I thought, well, what do I do now? Can I rescue this? Is there any way that I can rescue this? And I'm thinking through that. I've still got the cooked now. I decided to brown. Well, you can't really brown corned beef. It kind of just changes its pinkness a little bit. But I put it into a skillet and I browned it. And I thought, what if I were to make some sort of a cheesy, like a Swiss cheese, ooey gooey cheese sauce type stuff, and put this into it, and put the corned beef into it, and put some sauerkraut in it. And then I could use the variation of my cottage cheese cracker that I did, the sort of rye crisp cracker, and then use that as like a Reuben dip. That's a possibility. That may be the way I salvage it. And it got me thinking, should I do videos from time to time that just show failures? Here's something I tried and it didn't work out. I don't know. I don't know if that would be interesting to people or not, but you can let me know down in the description below. Down in the comments below. I make that mistake a lot in videos. The other thing that I have to contend with when shooting videos is just scheduling. Scheduling has gotten a lot more difficult. I thought being an empty nester was going to be easy and I would have a lot of free time. It has been anything but. First off, we have Colton at least once a week, and then all bets are off. He's my focus. He's where all of my attention goes when he's over here. But then also we have been doing so much work on Courtney's new house. It's going to be pretty cute and pretty wonderful when we're done, but the quantity of work and hours that we have put into fixing that place up inside and out has been huge. Fortunately, I think we're kind of coming to the end of that. So there's a factor. You get just sort of life getting in the way. The other thing too is I'm always contending with some sort of noise source. Whether it's Terry doing laundry or vacuuming or running the dishwasher or something like that. And I'm not complaining. Please don't think that I'm complaining. I think it's wonderful. She loves doing all of these things. She loves being keeping our house looking great. And she loves mowing the lawn. Like, how lucky am I? I've got a wife that loves to mow the lawn. She loves working the leaf blower as well. It seems she likes a lot of things that make noise, but there's always something like that kind of going on. Or I'll have a neighbor that's mowing or running the rest of the fuel out of their snow blower or running their leaf blower or something like that. So I'll have that noise. Now on those rare occasions where it's like quiet, nothing's going on, and I'm getting ready to film, and then the condenser or air filter in my fridge up in the kitchen goes off. I gotta wait for that to get done. Or if I'm down here in the man cave, I've got, over there, 2 different fridges on either side of my bar that periodically, like right now, I don't know if you can hear it, but that one over there, the condenser's running and making a little bit of a background hum. So these are some of the challenges that go into creating a video. It's not as easy as just recording and then puking it out onto YouTube and it's done. It is a full-time job. The next couple of topics are going to be fairly short, just random thoughts here. I wrote down crack chicken. I've never actually made crack chicken or anything that I think has crack in the title. Now I'm assuming that name is not because it contains actual crack cocaine, but rather it's just an indication that it's really addictive. And I got to thinking, why do we apply, like if someone said, hey, I like to smoke crack, you would think, that's not awesome. Yet we'll name a dish, a recipe after that drug. I think that's the only one. I don't think there's like meth chicken or heroin chicken or anything like that. The other one too that you hear a lot is it's like something on steroids. It's like chicken on steroids. And I think that means like it's good, like it's even better because it's on steroids. Yet if we talk about a person being on steroids, then it's bad. So I don't know how we got to this sort of dichotomy where we name certain foods or certain things after drugs and it's good, but if we're actually taking those things, it's bad. Short topic. Another short topic, and this is going to be right on the edge of TMI, but Terry said to me, this was just out of the blue, Colton makes the same sounds as you when he's going poop. I don't know where that came from. First of all, I don't know where that came from. Second of all, I have never heard him sing the opening to Circle of Life from The Lion King while he's pooping. So clearly there is a difference in the sounds we make. And if that sounds weird to you, that na when ya, just try it sometime when you're pooping. Probably not out in public, but it's actually kind of cool. Now on that topic also, I used to have a coworker. He was one of my fellow instructors back at GE when we'd be teaching Lean and Six Sigma and all the other different corporate training classes that we taught. But he, and this is kind of weird, he, after lunch, every day after lunch, like clockwork, he would go and have a bowel movement, and he would brush his teeth while he was in the stall. Yeah, kind of weird, huh? I mean, I give him mad props for process efficiency, but it seems like if you're going to combine any two things, any two sort of body necessity type things, in fact, there's not a lot of things I would combine outside of, playing Candy Crush or Toon Blast or something like that on my phone. That's about the only thing, or, if you got something to read, take it into the bathroom. But for the most part, I don't really plan on spending so much time on the throne that I need some sort of distraction. I'm about business. Get in, get done, get out. But yeah, I think brushing your teeth or perhaps eating anything while you're making a deuce, not a proper multitasking thing. For my final brief topic, I want to talk about salt rooms. I don't know if you have any of these near you, but I got a gift card for 5 sessions at a salt room out in one of the western suburbs of Milwaukee. And basically what it is, you go in, it's this almost spa-like sort of room. It plays that spa, really relaxing music. And the floor is all pink Himalayan salt. The same sort of stuff you'd put in a salt grinder. The walls are all made out of pink Himalayan salt blocks, some with lights in them. There's like little starlight things up on the ceiling, and really comfortable recliner, Barcalounger type things. And it just plays this chillaxing sort of music. It's fairly dark in there, and you can either meditate or take a nap or read something or play on your phone, and you're in there for like 45 minutes. Now, initially, this felt to me like just sort of some new agey sort of stuff, but surprisingly, a lot of this new agey stuff does in fact work, so I thought I would give it a try. And this was in the period where I was dealing with bronchitis, so I had like this long-lasting bronchitis, about a month long, and I went into the salt room and it cleared up instantaneously. Now, I don't know, maybe it was just a coincidence. Maybe it had run its course through my body, and it just so happened that it got done at the same time I went into the salt room. It's also supposed to be good for skin conditions as well, and I'll loop back to that in a second. But I thought, wow, I stopped coughing. And Terry, very often in the mornings, has this cough. For like the first half hour or so that she's up, she's kind of coughing. So I said, why don't you come to the salt room with me? She did. I didn't tell her anything about, this is going to improve you or do this or that. It was just sort of like a date. And sure as heck, her coughing stopped. And after a couple of weeks, it started up again. We went to a salt room again, and it stopped again. I don't know. Coincidence? Maybe. But my daughter-in-law, she and my grandson Colton, they both can have some skin issues, some like eczema and stuff like that. And they've started going to these salt rooms, and that's cleared up. So just kind of interesting. I'd be interested if any of you have tried out a salt room and what sort of therapeutic benefits you've achieved from them. Please let me know down in the comments below. For the final segment, I want to talk a little bit about YouTube, and the first part is something I've noticed within the last few weeks. When I reply to comments, it can take up to 15 minutes before they show up in comments. Very strange. I've never seen that before, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. If YouTube is monitoring comments more closely, I've seen more comments disappear lately as well. So that's kind of weird. Kind of weird with YouTube lately. The other thing, and this is where you can help me out, and this is going to be right on the edge of begging, but Serious Keto is not doing all that well as a channel. And it comes down to a couple of factors. I mean, if it were a patient, it would be on life support. If it were a stock, I would be putting in a stop loss order pretty soon. That's how it is right now. And I don't want to get into the money because I know that turns people off, but this is my full-time job. And I am currently getting about 1/3 of the views, 1/3 of the new subscribers that I did back when this channel had 100,000 subscribers. And as I dive down into the analytics, I see a couple of things. First off, far fewer new subscribers. And that's a function of how often YouTube shows my videos or promotes my videos or puts them into someone's feed who is not one of my subscribers. So YouTube is promoting me less. I don't know if this is a case with all keto channels, but that's part one. Fewer new viewers, fewer new subscribers, fewer views. The other thing too is far fewer views from my subscribers. And I know that some videos, like cooking videos, maybe it's just something you're not interested in, so you're not going to watch it. Or maybe it's a product review and it's not something you're interested, so you're not going to watch it. But the podcasts are the one sort of consistent thing on my channel. You more or less know what you're going to get in the podcast. And it used to be that the podcasts would get around 40,000 views a piece. And now they get less than 10,000 a piece. And that tells me that people that are subscribed are not getting notifications. That's my hypothesis. I mean, maybe they're just annoyed. They've had enough of Steve, so they've quit watching and or listening. But I also get comments almost daily from people that say, I'm subscribed, I've got notifications turned on, and I'm not getting notifications. I haven't seen a video from you, Steve, me, show up in my feed in 6 weeks. So there's something going on. I don't know what it is. But I'd be lying if I said it doesn't scare me a little. And it scares me most because I really don't want this channel to end. I don't want to go back to corporate America. That's not my thing. I figured if I could just keep running with Serious Keto for another 4 years till my pension kicks in, wonderful. And then we're good to go. I can maybe cut back to 1 or 2 videos a week. But yeah, it's looking bleak. So what can you do? And this is one of the reasons why whenever you watch a channel, they say, leave a comment, hit that like button, share this video, become a channel member. It's because that is what promotes this channel in the algorithm. When they see engagement, that means something to YouTube. So whether it's this channel, Serious Keto, obviously, or any channel that you enjoy, you have the ability to help that channel out. I mean, think about if there's a restaurant that you really liked and you knew that they were kind of having some hard times. What would you do? You'd get out onto Google and leave a positive review. You'd get out onto Yelp, leave a positive review. You would tell friends about it. Maybe post your experiences about it on Instagram or Facebook. And it would help. And that's really what I'm asking of you. Both for this channel and any channel that you enjoy. You have a lot of power, whether you know it or not, to help support the content that you enjoy. And if you enjoy my content, I would just ask that you do those things. Hit that like button, leave some sort of a comment. It could be a thank you, it could be a smiley face, whatever it is. And then hit that share button. I don't know if YouTube just looks at whether you hit that share button or whether you actually need to share it. But, oh, the other thing too, I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm closing in on 1,000 videos. Have you seen them all? If not, feel free to binge watch. I've got a podcast playlist. You can put that on in the background, have it playing while you're driving or doing housework or whatever. Anyhow, that's it. I'm done begging, but I want to say thank you to all of you that tune in on a weekly basis just to spend a little bit of time with me, listen to me talk, and I love the interaction with all of you down in the comments. So thanks again. I'll be back next week, probably with that total carbs versus net carbs discussion. And as always, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching.